yes, playing this game for a long time does pay off in the end, because yeah, that scene right there, that kind of cutscene, basically depicted Rance stripping his slaves still, and yeah, let's not go there. Anyway, so normally speaking, under normal circumstances as well, I feel like I'm going to repeat that every time. Let's play drinking games. Just take a drink whenever I say that. Anyways, normally you don't see like one enemy, two enemies at the same time. The reason why there are not very many enemies here is because Suzume is a unique. It's not really unique, but I have had her. If you guys remember, like way back when I did events for Suzume, if I even recorded that, I gave her a passive ability called Dungeon Scout. And what that does is, whenever you go dungeon crawling, if she is deployed at the start of a dungeon battle, then she will automatically prevent one enemy from appearing, so it saves you a lot of time. In special cases, like final battles and like special mid-boss battles, I don't know what else to call them, but in those cases, then her passive ability will not proc. But in normal circumstances like this, where you just, you know, fight Hannies and Magemen and stuff like that, it will help you a great deal by saving you a lot of time. And action flags, because each enemy does mean that one of your commanders is going to have to use up an action flag in order to kill it. I'm going to attack those. And as you can see, if you don't have like some weird event coming up, then you will obtain some sort of loot every time you clear a floor of a dungeon. And though each level of floors, you can see how many floors there are at the top of your screen, if you didn't notice by now. And yeah, just a random character portrait will appear after when you obtain some sort of loot after clearing a battle. So there you go. So as you can see here, I obtained what's called the sex medicine. The reason for this is because that is for Rizna's events. So that is in part why I did. That's in part why I want to go clear the dungeon as well, because for some characters' events, there are things that they ask for that you can only get from dungeon crawling. That's the only reason. That's the only way. So weird as it is, that's how this game works. Don't ask me. Ask the producers. So as you can see, the squid men, just weird things just coming up here. Some of them are actually quite hilarious to look at. And ogre bones. The thing about the ogre bones is that the ogre bones will be your most common form of loots or drops from each floor, from floors of dungeons. And what you can use the ogre bones for is you go to Hara's main county. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the territory is called. But you can go to where Hara once stood. And if you go there, you can click on an event that says go to this one guy's, I think it's called Padopet's shop? I think his name is Padopet. Yeah, I think his name is Padopet. You can go to his shop, and he will exchange for you items, like specific items you can't get anywhere else, in exchange for ogre bones. So ogre bones you can think of as a form of currency. But do keep in mind that every time you purchase an item from his shop, the cost for the next item will increase by, I think, 2 ogre bones, and they stack up a lot. So you need to dungeon crawl a lot in order to gain the necessary amount of ogre bones in order to buy everything. I mean, you don't really need to buy everything anyway. There are only a few things that he sells that I really want and are actually really useful. So in this case, this freedom guy, some weird muscular guy with butterfly wings who's holding magnets? He's seriously holding magnets? I didn't realize that until now. I thought he was doing like those I don't know, what do those people who listen to heavy metal, that hand says, I don't know what I'm trying to go with there. Anyway, so because he's level 13, we can attack him with Kosaka, so we don't, you know, it's an action flag well spent. Because you always want to one-shot enemies if you can. One-shotting is the best kind of damage dealt. Like that. So, he was level 17. As you can see, Kosaka is still able to one-shot him. Actually, I made a mistake there, because the mistake in that was that Shibata was at one last action flag, and most commanders have 2 forms of attack: a normal attack that takes up 1 action flag, and a strong attack that deals more damage, but in exchange you have to sacrifice the rest of your action flags. The best strategy for the most efficient way to use your action flags in dungeon crawling modes is to use up all your action flags as normal attacks, and then use your last action flag as a strong attack. and that's how you get the most out of a commander's turns. I didn't realize that at first because I thought Shibata had 2 action flags instead of 1, so I instinctively just made him attack it because he came up first, but apparently he ran out of action flags now. So when you run out of action flags, well, after this, what is this? Is it just free? Okay, this event should be safe. Yeah, it's just some random event that they come up upon things. It's best to I think by this point, if you see that particular event, you're pretty much done. You can exit the dungeon. But just to be safe, sometimes that doesn't always work. So just to be safe, you should always just clear the dungeon anyway. I mean, if you clear a dungeon, then that means that all your commanders will gain a rank up, a level up. So that's obviously a good thing. Once a commander is out of action flags, their commander tag will still appear in the battle order, but because they're out of moves, when it comes their turn, they can't act anymore. So what you want to do is switch them out, and you can do that with another commander. And normally, ninja units are the best or the ninja commanders are the best commanders to use in order to switch people out. That's why I have Kosaka and Suzume back here, because they are so fast that they can switch out lots and lots of enemy ally commanders in order for you to get the kind of commander you want. Like, you can keep doing that. You can. It's almost like an exploit, but I wouldn't call it an exploit at the same time. So Kento Konami is also another ninja unit. She's not very good, but I don't even think she can. Oh, okay, she can one-shot her or that squid guy. That's good. Eloquent Miso, it's just like an item that boosts a commander's negotiation by 1. That's all it does. Yankee. So I think Kosaka should be able to one-shot him. Yes, he will. I think it's from levels 21 and up. He can no longer one-shot enemies. Alright, so all these level 1s. By this point, there are so many enemies that it's like, well, you gotta eliminate them all anyway. So yeah. So in this case, it's not a waste of that. So many handies. And do keep in mind that these handies also are immune to magic attacks. So if, for example, I had like Rizna or a Diviner unit or a Diviner commander back here, and I had them attack a handy, it wouldn't affect them at all. Their passive skills still carry over to solo commander battles. So I just giving you guys a heads up. And there you go. They're all level 1, so all my commanders should be able to theoretically one-shot them easy. This is the last battle. Normally, on the last floor, you have some sort of really hard special boss, but in this case, it's just 2 Rommels. It's not that difficult. As you can see here, I use Ranmaru's last action flag as a strong move, so that's why. And the Uesugi Kenshin is obviously very powerful. She's not going to be able to kill them in one shot. By this point, Kosaka can just one-shot anyone, so it's not a waste of an action flag much. Anyway, so there we go. Dungeon is cleared. At the very end, after you clear a dungeon, all your commanders that you have on your roster will gain a level up. On top of that, you get like a super good loot. Either that or like a unique item. But in my case, do keep in mind that when I first started this game, I basically had so many second game bonus points that I could literally buy out the entire shop. And if you do that, then essentially you have all the dungeon final loots under your possession. So instead, what the game will give you is like attack textbooks, like textbook 2s, like the good ones, the ones that you can just give anyone, and no matter what their stat, it'll bump it by 1. It'll always give you those if you already have the item that they would have given you if you hadn't bought it from the second game bonus shop. So that's why I got the attack textbook 2. I think if I didn't get the attack textbook 2 and I didn't buy the item, like, I think it would have given me, this dungeon would have given me, like, I don't know, some obscure item, like maybe Demon Mask or something, I don't know. But because I already have that, the game has no choice but to give me, like, for example, an attack textbook 2, and that's obviously much more valuable than like a Demon Mask. Good. It's not like a dangerous event. Anyways, so as you can see here, Miki is basically channeling the Demon King essence because, you know, she's about to break. And then there's just so this event is kind of laden with Rance lore, because obviously the Demon King is pretty much very much so tied in with the rest of Sengoku, the Rance universe. So it's kind of difficult to explain everything, especially when I myself have not played any other Rance except for this one. I played the Rance Quest demo, but that's as far as I played that. I'm still waiting for the English translation patch to come out for Rance Quest. Anyways, so with that being done, you stay on the true out because you Miki will not turn to the Demon King. If she does, you're fucking screwed, and there's no way for you to win. Don't believe me? Go on. Play the game for yourself and see what you can do. So, with that being done, we shall end our turn. We attack Senkan Nagato. That's not good. Okay, harder.